All right, welcome back to another episode of the Vendo podcast. Super excited today because we don't have one or two, but we got three superstars on here. And very excited to talk Walmart, all things Walmart, strategy, channels, how to sell, what to sell, why to sell. So I'm going to tee it up to our team here to introduce themselves. So let's start with Mark, then Shelby, then Michael. Go for it, guys. Introduce yourself.
Hey, everyone. Great to be back on. My name is Mark Jordan. I lead our Walmart Marketplace, new business development and growth programs.
Awesome. I am Shelby Smith. I'm one of our Walmart account strategists as well. I've worked with a lot of brands in all categories, but I mainly focus on food and beverage as well as some suppliers in the toy category.
And I'm Michael Smith, and I lead the e-commerce team for Walmart.com, and excited to talk to you guys today.
All right, well, let's get into it here. I think the best place to start, just a quick refresher, is for our audience, the different channels and the ways you can sell on Walmart. And most people think, hey, I can sell Marketplace or I can sell 1P. Well, not true. There are different subsets of that. So why don't, Michael, if you want to kick it off real quick, you want to rattle off to us, what are the different ways to sell on the channel? And then we'll get into it.
Yeah, so Walmart has three different channels. Walmart's the largest retailer in the world from a brick and mortar standpoint, but from a .com standpoint, you have owned, DSV, and Marketplace. So owned is when they're trying to replicate what they have in store. DSV is when you're a dropship vendor and you're shipping out directly as a vendor. And then Marketplace is when you're utilizing kind of yourself, similar to like an eBay or something like that, or even an Amazon, and you're selling as a retailer yourself online. So those are the three channels that you can utilize on Walmart.com.
Yeah, and just to be clear for our audience, owned and DSV would be considered 1P channels. Marketplace would be a 3P channel. And with that, Mark, Shelby, curious to get your thoughts on like, what are the best practices or pros and cons or ways we can leverage each of those channels? So
Yeah,
Mark or Shelby, go for it, guys.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go forward with Marketplace here first. So like you said, Darren, there are subsets to those channels, right? So with Marketplace, kind of the subsets there are you have your seller fulfilled options or you have your Walmart fulfillment services options. So very similar to like Amazon, where if you were doing almost like Amazon seller fulfilled or Amazon FBA, FBA would be your Walmart fulfillment services on Walmart. And so those are kind of the two subsets there. We typically see brands go on Walmart Marketplace if they're brand new to the Walmart ecosystem for the first time, meaning they're not in store, they've never been online, maybe some other third-party sellers are already reselling their product, but they're just brand new to the platform. They might join Walmart Marketplace, get kickstarted there. Sometimes brands that are older, maybe legacy brands, they want to start getting into more of the e-com space and expanding their already existing in-store or 1P products online. Then they might get a Marketplace account to further expand that assortment and, test new products, drive revenue, sell through more online and keep making a case that their products should be in the omnichannel ecosystem for Walmart, which we know can help elevate your in-store presence as well. So that's kind of briefly on Walmart Marketplace, but I'll let Shelby talk more about the 1P side.
Yeah, so for the 1P side, specifically with owned, I would say previously you could be an e-com owned supplier only with Walmart. With the recent burn down of the Plainfield FC, they're down 20% in capacity, and we're really stretching for space there. So I would say, it's really more common in the suppliers that are already in store and have a relationship. So any items that are on the shelf, Walmart wants to have available through 1P to get to the customer. Super easy to just, buy more of that inventory for e-com. And then with DSV, basically Walmart provides you the shipping fee, they pay for that. And so you're able to ship from your warehouse. It's a matter of if you have that capability. It's a lot more flexible, but I would say you still have to keep, margin in line with 1P. And so whenever you're already in store or plan to be in store, I think it's easier for brands to get familiar with that or already know that process. Whereas like Mark said, with, some brands that are entering the Walmart ecosystem for the first time, it's a little bit easier whenever you have the control of retail and figuring out your profitability standpoint on Marketplace. But we like to offer, the same items that are in store, and then we will also offer extended assortment, so larger pack sizes or additional flavors of items that are in the store, just to make sure that the customer has, additional options online.
Yeah, no, so that's helpful for us to set up the larger part of this conversation, which is the strategy piece, right? And I think one of the interesting points to start out with is, Shelby, I know we talked earlier, if you want to give our audience, I think it was Whitney Cooper who came out with some quotes on how to use the app and some statistics there.
Yes, so she's a senior director of transformation and commercialization at Walmart. And they recently did a study that 82% of food and beverage physical in-store shoppers use their phone 2 to 4 times within a trip to check out a product's reviews, the content, to learn more about the items. And so that really just, sealed what we already know, that e-com is important even whenever your items are only in store or only in store and 1P owned. Utilizing the Walmart.com space to really educate your consumers and incentivize that purchase is a great platform.
Yeah, so just that's a great call out for everybody listening here. Is everyone thinks, great, if I'm buttoned up on .com or online, I'm going to purchase there. But no, that's the whole omni-channel strategy that we're talking about here for Walmart. Super critical to understand those things are now working together even in real time when you're in a store. So super important to be buttoned up there. Michael, Mark, what are your thoughts on ways brands can leverage Walmart's huge footprint? Right, we know that 90% of the country lives within 5 miles of a Walmart. What are the best ways we can leverage some of that omni-channel strategy? Best ways to sell .com wise? Michael, if you want to kick it off first.
Yeah, it's definitely what Walmart's known for is their traffic. Millions of customers that are in the store every day. So being, like you said, being buttoned up on your content, and when people go on and see your reviews, making sure you have the right images and the right reviews up there every day, because when they're going in, they're doing their research before. Most people are making their decisions on the fly now. So making sure you have your 4+ star reviews, making sure you have a ton of reviews on there, and making sure you're available and in stock at all times. And now, as we know, like with OPD becoming ever more important, you have to have your content up to speed, making sure your titles, and then even your advertising, make sure you pop up in search, becomes so much more important. And leveraging just the traffic as a whole it becomes super important on the own side of things. I don't know, Mark, if you want to talk about marketplaces.
By the way, quick acronym shout out for everybody.
Yeah.
OPD, online pickup and delivery. For those
Yes,
that don't know.
OPD, which would be the grocery side. Yeah, the grocery side of the business, which I'll explain a little bit more on that. During COVID, became the #1 downloaded side of Walmart's app, and now it's merged with Walmart.com as a whole. So it is the most important side of Walmart.com's business now.
Go ahead,
I will
Shelby.
say before we get to the 3P side, at least majority of the brands I work with, the .com space is also used as, how do we improve our performance? How do we drive, that demand from the consumer to get back on the shelf? So I will say the goal at the end of the day is to reach that footprint, get that reach and exposure from the, large consumer base that Walmart has. Obviously, Mark can speak more to 3P sellers that may not ever want to be in Walmart, but are utilizing the Walmart.com platform, or, they might try and graduate from 3P into store, which would be a great success story there as well. But I will say, at least on the 1P side, we try and have a good strategy behind the omni-channel assortment, and if an item is just there to supplement what's in store, or if it deserves a spot on the shelf as well.
Yeah, totally. Mark, your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think Michael and Shelby nailed it. But just to give like the kind of visual representation, if you will, I like to explain it like, if you're a supplier in store and you sell those single packs, then maybe you sell your extended pack sizes or colors or flavors online, and maybe you're in 1P, maybe you're in Walmart Fulfillment Services, maybe you're in a combination of both. But by doing that, you're basically covering like next day shipping or 2-day shipping nationwide across your entire assortment, because that customer can now go on the app, pick up their products in store, or they can get it delivered to them out of the store, or they can find the other pack sizes that don't exist in the store and they can still get it to them, with 2-day shipping through Walmart Fulfillment Services or that 1P relationship. And so your total assortment is really being covered in an omni-channel capacity. So to kind of give you the visual, if you will, that's how I like to think about how a lot of brands sell. And we see that a lot in grocery, right? They sell the singles in store, the extended pack sizes online, the total assortment's there, the customer has the choice to buy in store or online, and everyone's happy. And especially your merchant is happy. And that's a big part of the game too, right? With Walmart, is ensuring that your merchant is happy, because you're offering, like Michael said, best in class content and ratings and reviews across the total assortment, but you're also offering the total assortment that's now available. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Well, when you're offering the total assortment, what is all your take on a pricing strategy for, like, how do you price in store versus online, price the same? Remember, Amazon and Walmart matching each other now, causing a whole bunch of issues for Target, Costco, etc. What's the team's take here on the best pricing strategy? I'll start here with Shelby or Michael. Go, Michael. Go ahead.
I'll kick off just from a 1P owned, because it's pretty straightforward with Walmart, right? They're EDLC, EDLP. So when you go 1P owned and DSV, everything has to be EDLC, EDLP.
Wait, I'm gonna stop right there with the acronym
Yeah.
explanation to everybody.
Yes, I will
Go
talk
for
to
it.
it. So everyday low cost, Walmart expects to get the everyday low cost, and going along with that lines up with everyday low price. So they want their shopper to get the lowest price every day on their products. And by getting the lowest cost, they can then get their consumer shopper the lowest price. So both, and that's with all owned products. So that's DSV as well. So they expect that entire assortment. If you're giving them a black bicycle in store and a yellow bicycle online, the same thing, they want the same price across the board. So that's for all owned. So we want to make sure we get them the lowest price. Now, you don't control the price on when you're owned. That's the retailer, and Walmart is the retailer. So they own all pricing anytime something is owned. So just make sure you understand that. Once it's owned, that's Walmart owns the pricing. Shelby, you want to take it from there?
Yeah, so I'll add on to that, and I think it'll lead perfectly into Mark's opinion as well. So whenever we look at owned and 1P, obviously we have owned and DSV, knowing that Walmart is expecting EDLC and EDLP. With the DSV, you can inflate your cost a small amount for your pick, pack, and ship fee. But now that shipping prices has gone through the roof, your Walmart's margin has gotten a lot smaller there if they are paying your shipping and you have an inflated cost due to the pick, pack, and ship. So I really do see that channel getting smaller over time, I would say, and customers or suppliers should actually take any extended assortment that isn't owned to 3P, where Mark can kind of expand on the pricing strategy there, so that it's profitable for both ends.
Yeah, totally. Pricing parity we talk about a lot.
Yeah.
And it makes me laugh a bit because so Walmart Marketplace is super attractive for brands because they get to own their retail price, right? Walmart is not going to change that on you. You get to own that. And if you are a supplier in a store agreement or a 1P agreement, your merchant really has no say over what you're pricing your products at when you're on Walmart Marketplace, which is very attractive. And so if you're in a relationship with Walmart where maybe you supply them exclusive flavors, exclusive pack sizes, whatever that is, that's a strategy that works well when you're in store or your 1P, where you're developing these products for Walmart at exclusive pricing and pack sizes. That way your actual like evergreen items don't ever really need to be affected by the pricing issues, and you can keep those similar items within multiple e-commerce marketplaces. What I think is funny is that Walmart does say EDLP, but there's such a big shift to the Walmart Marketplace now, and so they're not going to have that control anymore. And what's kind of funny too is, like, we know with Amazon Prime, right, that Prime Day just happened, we're just past it. Walmart didn't even run a similar deal on site. They decided to not opt into running any type of combative online deals, and so really Amazon probably had the EDLP all day during their time frame, where Walmart didn't. But jokes aside though, but yeah, so pricing parity is still super important, and that's why a lot of brands like to get on Walmart Marketplace, just for the brand protection, because there's so many resellers and third parties out there either selling above or below what their usual MAP policies are, their minimum advertised price. And so that's another important piece as well.
Go ahead.
I also think it's interesting there to note the EDLP Walmart in-store customer. I mean, everyone goes to walmart.com for low prices, but they're not as trained to look for that. So I think there is more flexibility in offering larger pack sizes at a line price, MAP, retail that you have everywhere, and then in-store the customer is expecting to see a lower price. I think they're going to shift a little bit more as we are also shifting to Marketplace to start to understand that there's going to be more premium or larger, higher price items on Marketplace versus in-store. But interesting to see how the consumers are going to react and what type of different shoppers we get on walmart.com versus the foot traffic in store and the expectations from the consumers.
Yeah, I'll round the bases here on the pricing discussion real quick and just chime in with, for our own in-house brand, shout out to Keto Crisp, can do, everybody. We've seen how suppressing works from a pricing standpoint. So something we haven't touched on entirely is that Walmart is actually now, when they're matching Amazon, they're not using the marketplace price sometimes. They're also leveraging your in-store unit price, even if you have a different price on .com. We used to think the hack or the trick was change your UPC or even a unique pack size for that matter. But now they're matching it down to the ounce or the unit count in some cases. We're seeing in either grocery or hard lines. So our experience is very much like you have to have a strategy in place that understands these conflicts are going to occur. And it could occur with the headaches of either you're going to reach out to a merchant and they're going to say, no, we're not going to change the price, or they will be able to change the price. Or when you go into your line reviews or go into your Walmart strategy, understand that you need to combat that up front with some of these pricing ideas and opportunities as well. Go ahead, Shelby.
I was going to say, last thing on the pricing, I think it just kind of feeds into the entire channel strategy, though, is beyond just pricing of like items, it's also assortment strategy per channel and what makes most sense there, because, you know, a brand that may have bars and cookies and the bars are in store may focus on the different cookies online. So there's lots of different pieces to take into consideration.
Well, but you also said something earlier that was completely on point, in that a lot of the brands we're talking to now, like the up and coming innovative D2C premium type brands, and we all have the discussions internally, is someone going to pay X dollars for a box of cereal or something like that, right? That may work well on Amazon or online, but in the Walmart consumer, will they adapt to that specifically? So I do think there's going to be a lot of testing and trying, which Walmart's already doing to their credit, of premium price points, premium items. And yes, maybe online is going to be the testing ground to see if store is an opportunity, or even in some cases, vice versa, potentially too. So with that, kind of diving into one of our other topics here, how do you mix the different channels for kind of long-term growth and strategy, right, within all of these? Any one of you want to kick that off? Go for it.
Michael, do you want to start with the Nintendo brand?
I'll kick it off. Like,
I should have known better. I should have said, Michael, kick it off.
Yeah,
Go
I think
for it.
what we've recommended for most clients now is a hybrid approach, because you definitely have to be aware of what's going on and be in control of what you can control, right? Once you go into Walmart, there are certain aspects you can control, right? The pricing is controlled by the retailer. So once you go into Walmart, you can't control that price. But you may want to have other items. You want to expand your assortment. You may want to do expanded colors. You may want to do expanded flavors, where you may want to do DSD. But we know they're shifting where you may want to control the price. So you may want to go to marketplace. So there definitely is a hybrid approach across most of our retailers. In some cases, you may just want to stay owned. But for the most part, especially on higher price point items, we want to move to marketplace. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you want to expand specifically, Shelby, with maybe a toys type.
I can give an example. I definitely think there's so many pieces that come into it. And at the end of the day, knowing your long-term goals and your Walmart strategy, your e-com strategy, how Walmart.com plays a part of that is where we have to start. So I have, worked with a brand that has only in-store items, nothing on DSV marketplace, but there are over 70 sellers of their items through Walmart Marketplace. So the customer shopping experience just isn't very clean. There's duplicate listings, incorrect product information. And so their whole strategy really is to just clean up the shopper experience. They're not worried about how many sales we drive through Marketplace or any of that. It's just a matter of getting up there, getting our real estate, our product information, our reviews, our content, so that it's not hindering our brand perception from the Walmart.com customer. And then Mark, I don't know if you have any other examples, but I would say most of the time there is a reason, whether it be extending assortment, pricing control, or just brand protection and experience.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Shelby. I was just going to say, not just our recommendation, but Walmart's recommendation will also be to have a hybrid model. When you talk to that merchant early on, they're probably 9 out of 10 times, maybe it's higher, are telling you to go Walmart Marketplace before they even would consider for a 1P relationship or for store. Where we've seen and we've worked with brands that have started there and have moved through the hoops and then have gotten, in-store placement or gotten into a 1P relationships. But my personal opinion, just because I'm totally biased for selling on Walmart Marketplace, I just think every brand needs to be on Walmart Marketplace, regardless if they're in store in a 1P relationship. Like they just need to be on there for the pure brand protection, because what we've seen when we talk with these higher end, more premium or just bigger name brands, someone's already reselling your product on Walmart. Like 9 out of 10 times, someone's already doing it, and they're doing it the wrong way typically. So we would like to help them do it the right way.
And now with the launch of WFS, I'll say, previously a lot of the larger legacy older brands don't have that direct to consumer capability. And with WFS being, more large scale now, they can ship to the Walmart DCs or FCs. They can ship to this WFS, which is also an FC. So there's really no reason not to anymore. So I'm with you, Mark.
Yeah,
I keep bringing you more and more.
They've taken the 1P experience and just put that in the supplier's hands. That's really all they've done. And if you're a brand doing FBA, there's no reason why you shouldn't be on Walmart doing WFS or Walmart fulfillment services.
Well, to add, go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
Mark brought up a great point. We've been assuming that everyone already has in-store placement, and now everybody has the opportunity to be owned.
Yeah.
I mean, Marketplace is a great opportunity just to get your foot in the door, right? So great opportunity to get your foot in the door, great opportunity to have an initial conversation with the buyer.
And test things before it's too serious, find that pricing strategy, see what works for you, and then bring it to Walmart before, you're under such large scrutiny and there's more risk and distribution aligned to it.
Yeah, just being present on Marketplace can take you a long way.
Well, and again, I think everybody, our audience should understand as well. It used to be the old school mentality of thinking of Walmart and the Walmart consumer, or Target and the Target consumer, Amazon, et cetera. However, now the two largest marketplaces online, being Amazon and Walmart, it doesn't, you have to kind of separate them in one sense. And I know this is going against our omni-channel conversation, but if you don't have the opportunity to be in store, then the first half of that omni-channel strategy, to Mark's point earlier, is be on Walmart Marketplace, be online. Because the customers are getting very agnostic in their journey as to where they're going to find you. And as we saw with COVID, the app was the #1 most downloaded app for Walmart. They were going to find you there. And if you weren't there, you just lost to your competitors not being there as well. Sorry, Shelby, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add, the only thing I disagree with is saying, we have to look at it separately, and that's not necessarily omni. But if you think about it, there's only so many things everyone could get at Walmart. You could basically check everything off your list. I can shop just at Walmart and get everything I need. But for larger pack sizes or anything that's not at Walmart, previously, Walmart could lose market share there, but offering to that different consumer and meeting their needs on Walmart.com solves that gap as well.
No, great point. And that's why I think it's the other half of the omni-channel part is starting on Walmart.com if you can on store. Mark, I'm curious from a marketplace perspective, with Walmart allowing, Chinese sellers, now sellers from India, and eventually they just opened up to Europe, to UK sellers, which we've seen what that does on Amazon, and how, when we talk about third parties violating pricing, et cetera, do you have any thoughts or advice to any of our audience as to what's the best way to either mitigate that, or is that even to further validate your point, you better be on there to meet the consumer because someone's coming on there to eat your lunch?
Yeah, no, I think it's the latter. Yeah, I think just that the marketplace will get so saturated over time with all of these other, Chinese sellers or India sellers, whoever it is, right? That it's going to be tough to find a space, especially when it comes to ads, right? And we know how important like running ads is, whether you're on marketplace, on 1P, or if you're in store, right? Because we can run ads and drive in-store velocity. We could do a whole podcast just on that. But it will become more tough over time. But I think being a real brand and already having a presence externally from Walmart is important, of course. Getting registered in the brand portal, and we know that's going to be really important for ads actually coming soon from our relationship with Walmart, specifically for search brand amplifiers in the near future. So some of these may be just random private label Chinese sellers, whatever they are. Maybe they won't get access to these different ad placements and other things like that. So kind of some ways there, but it definitely going to turn into Amazon. That's for sure.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Shelby, I know you'll chime in a sec. That was a very important call out for everybody. Register your brand in the brand portal. That's a quick nugget for everyone to take away. If you haven't done that, please reach out to us. We'll show you how to do it. But you should be registering your brand because it is coming where for Walmart ads and for other reasons, channel control, you need to have that buttoned up. Sorry, Shelby, go for it.
Oh, last thing I was going to add is everything that Mark just said is a reason if you're not selling right now, get started every day. You're missing out just because, like we said, if you're not selling your own product, someone else is. They're getting those sales. They're building that relationship, getting the relevancy and history on your items. So the quicker, the better.
Yeah,
Walmart.com is important.
Absolutely. It's funny. I was talking to Nick, our VP of marketing, and he went to Accelerate recently, and he shared with me a clip that Neil Patel, who if some people are familiar with, he's an incredibly smart marketer. Shout out to Neil. He made a great comment on stage in answering Nick's question, which was, hey, should I drive traffic to Amazon or D2C? And Neil's question was like, you should be on everything, on all of them. Let the customer choose. He was saying you should be on both, Amazon, D2C. I would put Walmart.com in that same vein. He never said that, but I'll add that to that. Again, the customer journey is going to be cycling through all of those different platforms. So very important. Last topic here. Go ahead, Shelby.
I'm going to say with subscriptions, it's also really important now knowing if you just put Amazon, what if your customer isn't a Prime member? Even though the majority of everyone is, if they're not a Prime member, well, what if they're a Walmart Plus member? So giving them the options and allowing the consumer to pick is extremely important as well.
Yeah, and Walmart Plus is growing and they're adding new features all the time to that. So 1,000%, that's an area of focus. Last topic here as we close it out, marketing and how we think about different promotions and planning and strategy, whether it's store, online, or omni. I'll kick it to you, Michael, first. I know we talked back to school. Like, how do we plan? How should we tell our audience to think about their planning, their marketing and promotional activities year-round for all channels?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the number one thing that everyone should think about doing is running ads. You have to have always on search strategy on Walmart.com. That's number one. That's on site. You also need to have an off-site driving traffic strategy as well. Like those two things are going to be super important, regardless of whether you're selling 1P or 3P, right? 3P, I would say it becomes even more important because with 1P, you're already getting a higher relevancy because of your sales. You're going to be boosted a little bit more because you're selling more. But as a 3P, you're going to need to spend more to get those ads. Now, when I talk about that, you're talking about getting ads and you're talking about search brand amplifiers, where if you go to Walmart.com, you're going to see that the highest point with the products at the top with the brand logo, as well as 3 sponsored slots typically. And then you'll see 4 sponsored slots below that. So before you ever see any products in any search results, you're going to see sponsored products that are paid for. So that's the number one thing. You always have to have some sort of search sponsored products turned on. The second one that I talked about is you need to always be driving traffic to Walmart. That's one of the hardest things to convince people who don't drive traffic to Walmart is that you have to drive people there. And people are used to driving people to their own website. They used to drive people to Amazon. But using Facebook, using Google, just starting to drive traffic to Walmart makes a huge difference. So those are two primary areas that I would concentrate on.
No, great call out. And the reason people are nervous to do that is a big pain point for all of us internally. The data, right? People think I'm driving traffic and I'm not getting site attribution for my sales. Well, guess what? If you dig into your retail link reports and you look at your store sales, I guarantee you in some cases, 15 to 20% of those store sales attributed were actually OPD or the customer journey checked out online to pick up in stores. So great point there, Michael, in terms of driving traffic. Shelby, you're the promo queen in terms of all the things you got going on.
Yes.
For our audience there.
So I would say I have a blog post about how I feel about brand awareness. So you guys can also read that as well. But I would say you have to
love the plug.
resonate with the consumer.
We're gonna put the link
I had to
in there.
throw that in there. But the biggest thing is you have to resonate with the consumer. Like number one, they have to know who you are. They have to want to look for you. They have to recognize your brand and product. And then 2, like Michael said, driving external traffic directly to Walmart or just awareness that we're at Walmart. And the biggest kickback has always been, well, we have our EDLP at Walmart, like we don't make as much money there. Well, there's also no excuses now as well with 3P, like if we can drive traffic, we have the control of the retail price through marketplace. But I would say that the biggest piece of promotional planning is get started as soon as possible, especially on the owned and DSV side of it, because Walmart has to place POs, you have to get inventory ready, you have to make sure that everything is in line with Walmart's planning schedule. Whereas Mark, you can speak a little bit more to the flexibility that we have on Marketplace, but I would just say, get started. You can always plan ahead. And yeah.
And then Mark, flash picks, deals, Marketplace, talk to us.
Yes, totally. So on Marketplace, a couple things happening. For all sellers, you have access to the promo spec sheet. So you can, load your promos, set the date, whether that's like a clearance, a rollback, whatever it is, and load that for your designated time period. But past that, if you are a Walmart Marketplace account, which has been deemed a strategic account, you have access to a strategic account manager at Walmart. You may be given an opportunity to play in what they call flash picks and campaign tools. It's only available to certain accounts that have that access. You can find that in your growth opportunities dashboard. That is amazing because now you have the ability to not just set like promotional items on promo, but you actually can submit them into specific campaigns. So if that's a flash pick, it's a Walmart week, it runs for the whole week. If it's a campaign, there might be something happening for, let's say, the full month of June. Like we know they did a full month of June. They had some stuff in July. There's going to be a back to school promo. There's a road tripping promo. There's Halloween. There's anything that's seasonal or event based. Those are in your campaign section. So another way that you can kind of spice up your sales there.
All right, I love that quote, spice up your sales. We're going to leave it like right there that's the quote right there from it.
Last thing I'm going to throw in is we
it.
don't have to spend money to drive sales. Like we do, that's important, but we don't have to just focus on like what promo or special price are we going to run. Think about how are we going to update our content seasonally to resonate with the consumer in that time frame. How are we going to drive traffic with messaging that more aligns with current events or situations? So I think that's always an interesting point that people forget that we can utilize as well.
Yeah,
no, I love that.
If you have like, you don't have to spend money. If you have social media, if you have a great social media following, utilize your social media. Like tag Walmart. Don't just say it's available Walmart. Send them straight to a PDP. Like make it easy on the shopper.
Yeah, it definitely works for sure on that. And I love what you said there, Shelby, is not everything has to be a paid strategy. That's what we do so well. Our team are rock stars at doing that, is helping brands figure out what is the right approach. And hybrid could also mean paid versus organic. So great call outs all the way around. Last comments or thoughts, anything you guys want to leave our audience with here? I know we could talk for hours about all things Walmart. So we'll go, Michael, anything?
Yeah, I think my number one takeaway is always think about your channel strategy as a hybrid approach. Like that's my number one takeaway is think about it holistically. You should have a strategy around 1P DSV and Marketplace when you're thinking about Walmart. You can't think about them individually. So just think about all of them as forming your total strategy as well as your in-store combined with them. So really four areas to think about together.
Great call. Shelby, anything?
I don't have
a lot of
anything
great
else to add
information.
except for I love it. I'm excited, passionate about all of them. You can make it all work.
Absolutely. Mark?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you're even just a small brand and you are someday dreaming of getting into Walmart retail, just get on Walmart Marketplace like right now. It's still early enough where, they can handle the bandwidth of influx of applications and all the sellers coming on. And, the portal is still relatively easy to navigate. And there's just so many things that are going to be changing coming out soon. But I think the time is now. And if you have that dream someday, or you just want to get in touch with the Walmart, ecosystem, just get on now. It's really not a major risk to you. And especially if you're doing Amazon already, there's just a no-brainer to tap into that market that's already existing on Walmart. So that's what I'll end on.
All right. I love it. As I said, we can keep talking for hours here. Thank you guys very much. As always, you can find all of these great superstars at Vendo. Please reach out to us at vendocommerce.com on the web. If you pick up each of these teammates' first name, you can reach them at vendocommerce.com. And with that, everybody remember, protect your brand and sell more. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the podcast. See you next time.